What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Unscripted, a show that brings you professionals from all walks of life, touching on their backstory, their mindset, and how they navigate through adversity and opposition, while providing you practical tips that might help you on your path. I'm your host, two-time Olympian, Olympic bronze medalist, author, and motivational speaker, Akeem Haynes. Now, let's get into the episode. This week on episode 122, my guest is the former WBA-NABA super featherweight champion. In the amateurs, he had a boxing record of 167 wins, 11 losses, and 60 of those wins by way of knockout. In 2016, he turned professional, and now in the professional boxing level, he has a record of 21 wins, 1 loss, and 15 wins by way of knockout. In 2020, he signed a co-promotional deal with Top Rank Boxing alongside Murphy's Boxing. He's fought on the big stages, such as the well-known Hulu Theater in New York City, the Hard Rock Hotel Casino in Oklahoma, and of course, the MGM Grand Conference Center in Nevada. This week, Abraham Nova stops by the show. Had a great conversation with Abraham, right? I've been following his career for a few years now, but it wasn't until this year that we were able to connect. But on paper, Nova is a boxer by profession. But he's a man who's been trying to make the most out of whatever comes his way, despite what cards that he has been dealt. Coming from humble beginnings, Nova always wanted to make a name for himself. And every time he wakes up, he strives to do just that. This episode, we get into how growing up in Albany, New York was with his parents and 9 other siblings. Lessons he learned growing up in those challenging and trying environments, how he started boxing and what kept him in it, what boxing taught him about himself, why hard work and discipline are essential parts to success, how his faith and his friendship and family circle around him help him stay grounded, why patience is an essential piece for your character development, what he thought his best fight was, and the backstory behind his recent fight with Robeisy Ramirez and what he learned after his first loss. We also talk about his next fight date and why he's not staying in the 126th division anymore. And he also leaves us with a word of encouragement for someone that might need it. And we talk about so much more. You might have seen him inside the ring, but this is an episode that will hopefully give you more insight into how he became the person he is today. But before we go, if you could do me a huge favor and just take a quick moment to leave a rating and review of the show, wherever it is that you can leave podcast ratings and reviews. I truly, truly appreciate it. And this small act goes a long way, and I mean goes a long way in moving the podcast forward. It takes less than 5 minutes to do so. If you could do that for me, that would be greatly, greatly appreciated. Also, if you'd like to watch the visual episode, you can watch that on our new YouTube channel that will be in the show notes below. So with all that being said, enjoy this week's episode with Abraham Nova. Nova, what's up, champ?
Hey, what's going on?
Man, finally we get to tap in, brother.
Yeah, about time. Yeah, I've been waiting.
What's going on with you, man? Looked like you had a off day today. I trained early at 10, so I was free. From 1 to like 4. Yeah, bro, I appreciate you, man. Appreciate your time. Bunch of questions I want to get in today, man. And the first thing, I like to start the same way, brother. I like to start with gratitude, man. I'm big on life. I'm big on starting your day in the right direction, and it's hard to be negative when you're in a positive state. So give me 3 things you're grateful for today, man.
Well, I'm grateful, my health, grateful for my family, and health, family, and I'm living. I'm happy,
Nova, man, people see you in the ring, right? And on TV, they probably see, you doing your thing, doing well. But oftentimes they don't really ever see the journey of how you got to where you are today, man. And so we got to go back a little bit to that backstory, because I'm a firm believer that if you can understand how a person grew up, then you can understand why they operate and how they operate the way that you do. So originally born in Puerto Rico, man, but you moved to Albany, New York shortly after your birth. One of 9 siblings, man. What was that like growing up in that household?
And it was fireworks, It's Not one out of nine siblings, well, 10 siblings. Um, growing up home, and going through poverty was tough. Living in a 2-bedroom apartment, and in a country that we didn't speak English, so we only
Mhm.
spoke Spanish. It was really, really tough. But I feel like that journey and that process made us strong and made us go get us and get what we need to get in order to survive. And I think my parents, I think the whole journey I've been through, because I'm happy the man that I am today, and the man that I'm becoming, and it's because of those obstacles and those fights I had to go through in my life in order to be here.
When you reflect on those times, man, what lessons did you draw from it, right? Because a lot of times when we're kids, we don't really know what we're seeing or really have an understanding of what's going on until a little bit later. But maybe you learned something from your parents or your siblings or the community. But what was a lesson that you took from those times that you reflect on to say, you know what? I didn't know I needed that till right about now.
One thing that I got from that is my parents' drive.
Hmm.
My parents are pastors, and they did everything. They did everything in order to help people, and bring people into church. Like, they're passionate with Christ, and they're passionate and helping others. It showed me, like, yo, pick one thing and be passionate about it and go as hard as you can, because you'll get there. And I would say my parents drive. They're passionate to do things, and the way they work to get things done. That I feel like that's one thing I took with me, and I'm very appreciative, because when I have my mind on something, I
Yeah.
go all the way through, and I feel like I got that from my parents.
I mean, I understand exactly that mindset and that mind frame. But also, you just talked about your parents being pastors, man. At an early age, right? You have all your siblings there. You may not have certain resources, and yet your parents may come home and say, "Hey, look, God's going to see us through." How was your earliest dealings with faith at that time? Like, did you understand what was going on?
I grew up in a Christian home, so I feel like my mindset was there already. I was born that way. I was born in a religious mind, because that's all I seen. So I wasn't confused. I just always believed in God and had that faith, because He always pulled through. He always pulled through. And when
Mm-hmm.
we was in tough times, He pulled through, and made us stronger, made us overcome any adversity that we went through.
Man, I read that you started boxing at 12, right? And I started doing track and field a little bit later, but the more that I got to speak with certain athletes and different ones, I like to compare journeys, right? And when I talk to Usain Bolt and the Justin Gallons and the Asafa Powells, every time that they said that they started the sport, they picked up the spike and they knew, like, man, this is what I wanted to do. But Nova boxing is a little bit different, bro. Like, nobody just says I want to get punched in the face for a living, right? So when you picked up the gloves, was it something that you said, wait a minute, man, this can be something here? Or were you just looking for something to pass the time?
There's a lot of reasons why I chose boxing. The first one, I'm gonna be quite honest. I've never told anybody this, but this is the first time I'm telling anybody this, why I really chose boxing. I'm one, like I said, I'm one out of 10 kids, and at home, it's tough to get that love,
Yeah.
from your parents, from your siblings, because we all competitors, we all compete, and everybody out on to do their own thing. Yes, we love each other and whatnot, but you know, I feel like I didn't get that love at home, and I know my parents love me, but I know they were busy. But I feel like in the gym, I got that love. I got that love that
Mhm.
I was looking for. I trained, I won, and everywhere I went, I was getting that love that I wanted from my siblings. And then I noticed, the more I kept winning, the more love I was getting from my siblings, and it wasn't not a bad thing. It's just that they noticed how good I was getting, and anybody was support, anybody who's winning, everybody loves a champion. So as I was winning, the more love that I got. So I was like, wow, man, this is good. So that kept me going. The
Yeah.
love that I was getting at home was made me kept driving through boxing. You know, and of course, I played other sports. I was a high athlete in everything I did, in track and baseball, football. I was elite. Like, I was like beyond national level, going anywhere I wanted. But it's not like boxing's an independent sport, man. You don't gotta rely on nobody. So that's the main reason why I stuck with boxing, and the love that I was getting in boxing. rather, I want to say the love I was getting at home, but I was the love I was getting at the gym is what made me drive and stick with boxing.
You know, it's crazy, man. It seems like originally I was born in Jamaica, and I don't know what it is, man. It's like the North American countries, the Caribbean. It's like you know your parents love you, right? You don't question that. You see the sacrifices, you see what they're doing. You know the love is there, but they just don't always, always come out and say, you know what, I love you. And it's one of those things where, like, when you're a kid, you don't really think about it too much, and when you get older, you realize you react a certain way because you didn't get that love. But when you look back now, Nova, man, when you started boxing, what was the dynamics like in your home? Like, did your parents say, I don't want you to do that, or they came to support it?
No, my parents didn't want me to do it. Especially my mom. She don't want to being Christian, being pastor, can't have the kids fighting, so they didn't. But then my dad said, man, if he's gonna do this and stay out the streets and and not get in trouble, then let him rock. Let him at least do this, and we know that he's gonna be safe in that sport, and he's not gonna be into drama. Like I said, I grew up in a very dangerous area. Killings, drugs, everything was happening. So my father was like, man, instead of him getting caught up in the streets and with these bad kids, let him box. And that's how we came up with a term, was I behave in school, do what I have to do, and I was able to box. So my mom was not with it. She's never been to my fight till dates, but my dad, he does support it, and he pushes me.
Man, what has boxing taught you about yourself, man?
I'm crazy. you know,
Yeah.
I could say boxing taught me, that I'm a go getter. And a lot of times I thought I was soft, but now I got that dog in me.
Yes, sir.
And boxing helped me take that out. Because I was, as a kid, I was quiet and I was laid back, and I never really got into a boxing. Man, you hit me, it's a different beast that comes out. So it showed me I got that dog. I have great work ethic, and the main thing it showed me that whatever you want in life, man, you got to go and work for it. Doesn't matter what it is. It showed me, and in boxing, like I said, it's not like any, like I play football, I
Yeah.
play baseball, and I wouldn't go to practice and I'll play and I'll shine. Well, boxing, you can't do that. You got to put
Hmm.
in that work. So boxing showed me, in order to get something in return, you got to put in the time, and that's the main thing that boxing showed me. So anything that I do, I know I'm not gonna get it just because of my talent. I got to put in the work.
Man, you hit on a whole bunch of great things just there, bro. But it's like, when you said, man, um, a lot of people nowadays, and you see it all over in different countries, where they're searching for attention, searching for that love, searching for that family feel. And a lot of people go out in the streets and they get themselves in gangs and stuff. But for you to be able to maneuver and put into something productive, man, I think that says a lot about you and the direction that you saw for your life. Amateur career, though, man, because this is a tough question that a lot of young fighters have, knowing when to go pro. When is the right time to go pro? You had an amateur record of what, if I remember correctly, what I read, 167 wins, 11 losses, 60 something knockouts. So two things came out to me, man. It's like, one, you stayed patient, because after 30, 40 fights, a lot of people just turn pro for the money, but that doesn't mean they have a good professional career, right? So what made you stay patient and trust the whole process of it? And what were some of those reasons that you decided to go pro? Was it something that you felt, or was it something that you and your team decided to do?
So one thing I've always said to myself, and one thing my trainers always told me, is that you don't turn a pro, you become a pro.
Mm, that's
You
good.
know, and in that angle, I knew I still needed development. I started to work some things. I was rushing. I was doing a lot of things, and I was just waiting for the right time until I'm ready for this. And I was no rush. I think I turned pro at the age of 22. I could have turned pro at the age of 18.
Yeah.
I had deals coming from me from left and right. I had Golden Boy. I had Top Rank coming at me from left and right when I was 18 years old. But I said I'm not ready yet. I have more stuff. Yes, I'm winning. I'm knocking dudes out. I'm ranked number one in the country.
Yeah.
But I need to be fully sound on this. Understand, because I was winning, but not. I don't want to say winning off luck, but I was just winning. Not
Yeah.
I was just winning off my will, not off skills and techniques. So I feel like once I hit 20, 21. I was like, okay, now I think I'm ready. So I said, let me stick it out, see if I can make this Olympic run. And if I make it, I make it. If I don't, then we turn. And that's exactly what we did. We went for the Olympic run. We lost in the semifinals to Gary Russell. Right
Mm,
after that,
mm.
we turned pro.
2016, man, your pro debut, and you won by knockout, man. But talk me a little bit about that fight, but also Nova, it's different now, right? Because now you're not this amateur kid anymore. You're this pro, right? And being a amateur and being a professional are two different things. Now the cameras are in your face, the lights and everything. And now when you lose or the opportunity when you get hit or something happens, now the world is seeing, right? So what was that like going into your first fight, man? Like, were you nervous? Were you scared? Were you ready? Were you prepared? What do you remember about that first debut?
And that debut, I was anxious. I remember I was anxious. Because what got me the most was I didn't know what to expect. Yes, I seen a lot of fight. I seen everything, but I didn't know what to expect. Yes, I was in shape. I was ready. Yes, I didn't know what to expect. Once I fought, I was like, oh, there's nothing different from the amateur except the gloves,
Yeah.
because I was fighting with no headgear. And after, I won and knocked them out, my confidence level went high. I'm like, wow, I psyched myself out. There's nothing different. He's got to be, more cautious with my defense. And from there on, I started rolling.
Training, Nova, I think I know for me, man, there were days where I was just like, Doug, I just don't have the energy to get through this day, because it's going to be a hard day. And then, the thing about track, man, it's very similar to boxing. When you lose, like, it's just you, right? You're in control of the work ethic and all of these things. But then there are some days where you're just tired of being sore, right? And then you're just like, man, it's a lot. So when you're in the gym, Nova, and like, man, you're just like, man, I don't got one more rep in me. What do you tell yourself during that time? Because in training is when you really got to break the body down and push the barriers. But you need a little bit more internally to be able to do that. So what are some things that you're doing in the gym to help yourself on those days where you just may not have it on your own strength alone?
I feel like discipline is what makes me get through everything. You know, Understand that I don't want to go to the gym, I don't want to train, but being disciplined and knowing that this is my job, this is what I got to do in order to make it to the next level is what pushes me. I feel like motivation comes through discipline
Mm.
and being consistent, and because I'm so consistent in training and doing what I do, I feel like I'm always motivated to work because I feel like there's a new level, there's a new spot we could always get to. I'm never satisfied where I'm at. I feel like I could always grow and always improve in my craft, and I feel that's where I get my motivation from. And yeah, like I said, there's times I don't want to go, I don't want to train, but I'm disciplined. I'm disciplined in my job. I'm disciplined in what I do, and I know if I don't do this, you know, I'm not gonna be satisfied. My family's not gonna eat. I'm not gonna eat. This is what I gotta do.
How do you handle pressure, Nova? Because, you know, pressure can make you freeze. We've always heard the saying pressure makes you bust diamonds or whatever the case may be, but everybody handles it differently and everybody feels pressure differently. So when you feel pressure, when you feel anxious, man, what do you do to help you quiet your mind and your body and your spirit and still be able to do what you have to do, especially in a performance where in a field where it's just you there, your team is around you, but they can't get in the ring with you. So how do you handle that pressure on a day-to-day standpoint, not just in the ring, but all of the stuff that comes with it? Because you got to bring life problems into the ring as well, too. How do you handle that?
The first thing I go to is my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. You know, you know, I, I'm a big believer in God. I know He has everything mapped out and plans for me. And when times get tough in life and things get tough, I'm like, hey, God, lead me the right way. Show me where I gotta go. Tell me what I gotta do, and I'll do it. And yes, pressure. We all go through pressure.
Mm-hmm.
When I'm fighting, I go through pressure. But the main thing I always say to myself, if I put it all out in the gym and I did everything I could do, I should be fine. The Lord's gonna he's gonna guide me the right way, and I'm gonna be fine. At the end of the day, when I get pressure and I feel like everything's going south, I leave it all to God, because God has my back, and He helps me, reach that next stage in my life.
Man, he's the same today, tomorrow, and forevermore, man. I want to talk about two fights, Nova. I've been watching you since you were probably, 12, 13 and 0, right? But one of the fights that I said, man, he's going to that next level in his career is when you fought Encarnacion, right? I felt like a lot of the things was starting to come together for you, man. You look quick, you look fast, the hand speed, the punching power, the placement. I was just like, oh, yeah, it's here. But that's me, right? What do you think was your best fight? What was that fight so far in your career that you were just like, you know what? Oh, yeah, it's my time.
Well, Encarnacion, I feel like I was at 70%.
Mm.
I feel like a fight where I did, I felt like good upon myself, probably was, I can't say his name. It wasn't a high class guy, but it's how I felt in there.
Yeah.
And it was in Belgium. Was my last fight in Belgium. I forgot his name though, but if you look at my last fight in Belgium, probably was four fights ago, where I felt good, I felt complete, I felt patient, I felt like I was seeing everything, and I feel like I'm going to that next level. And then after that fight, I signed with Top Rank. I remember that. That was the fight where I felt like I was complete. I was complete, and I was learning. I was being relaxed, and then I had a couple of fights. Then I fought Encarnacion.
No, but there's a flow, right? Especially in high performance sports where you just know and feel like everything is clicking, and you can incorporate that in different parts of different professions. Whether maybe you're a writer and you're in a groove where you knock out 100 pages and you're just like, wait a minute, I haven't even been in here for 20 minutes. But that flow and that currency where everything is just fluid, man. When you're in the zone, brother, what does that feel like, right? Do you feel untouchable? Like, what does that flow like when you just like, man, I feel perfect today?
Yeah, that flow is a flow we always wish to have 24 hours, throughout
Yeah.
the day, But yeah, once I get that flow, man, you feel invincible. You feel like you can see everything. Your timing's on point. Your power's on point. Your speed, your accuracy, everything's on point. Not just in the ring, but outside, how you're living, everything is flowing, everything is right. And I wish we could have that, all year round. But like I said, I think a
Yeah.
fighter could only peak 2 to 3 times a year, the most.
Mm.
So that's what a good fighter has to, not overtrain, understand the training methods, understanding everything, have a good train, understanding when to push, when not to push them, because we don't peak that many times. When we do peak, that's when we hit that next level.
It's funny, man, because track is so similar as well too. You don't. There's a lot of races where you have to grow through the pain, right? Because you're still in the gym, heavy, lifting heavy, pushing the threshold, and you just like, coach, like, man, like let me off the leash here, like let me get good. But he's like, no, just going, you wait. You know, there was a time for me, one of the biggest races that I had was previously towards the Olympics, and I got to the meet, Nova, and I felt great, man. I felt amazing. And the gun went, and I'm 50, 60 meters down the track, and all of a sudden, like, my mind went elsewhere for a split second, and I went from first to third, and I did not make it out of the semifinal. And I was thinking to myself, man, I did not, like, what just happened? I wasn't prepared for that. Yeah. And I want to go back to your recent fight against Robezi Ramirez. I'm going to give you what I see, Nova, because a lot of people haven't heard you talk about this yet. I was watching the fight. Yeah, I'm watching the fight, right? And obviously, boxing, man, it's 50-50. You step in the ring, anybody can be beat on any given day, right? But I'm watching the fight, and after the first round, I was thinking to myself, man, Nova looks a little bit off, right? I didn't know what it was. We had never spoken before, but after we talked on IG for a little bit, but I was like, man, Nova, something looks off. He doesn't look like himself a little bit, right? But that's just me. Nobody knows what was going on. But for me, from my perspective, from watching you before, I was like, man, he just doesn't look like himself, right? Walk me through that fight for you, Nova, like the lead up going into it. And is my calculations any correct or was I off? Because nobody's heard you talk about this fight yet, right? So walk me through that fight for you, man.
Nobody's talked to me because I don't like putting excuses out there, and I take the way I take my wins, I take my L's, and
Absolutely.
I didn't want to preach about it and say, oh, this happened, this, that, because a lot of things did happen. But Robesi won fair and square. He was the better man. He won. He got me with a shot. Like there's nothing I could do, nothing I could say that could change that. He won.
Yeah.
You
Mm-hmm.
know, a lot of things just happened leading up to that fight. The number one thing was the weight. Making weight was tough. Wow,
Yeah.
that was tough.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't just making weight. That time was making weight throughout the whole camp. Like my body couldn't go down. Like I'm trying to eat right, eat clean. My body kept staying high, staying high. So we left the weight too long, and they just kept staying high. So boom, weekend comes to make weight. I'm eating. I'm high. I'm telling my brother that Monday, so we gotta make weight on Friday. Monday, I'm like, yo, do I look dehydrated? Cause I feel dehydrated, but I'm heavy. Like my eyes were sunken. He's like, yeah, you do. So we started eating more. Right. This is fight week. You try to
Yeah.
eat more to try to feel better. And then my nurse that came like, damn, I don't think I'm gonna make weight because now I'm high, but I'm dehydrated. Like my body was everywhere. So come Thursday, we cutting weight. We're still high. We're like 5-6 pounds out, right? Jeez, I'm hurting. Boom, I'm hurting bad. I can't sleep. My
Mm-hmm.
heart rate is cranking. I could then on Thursday I didn't sleep the whole night. Did not sleep. Friday I come that morning. I'm in a bath. I'm cutting weight. I pass out. Boom.
Oh, jeez.
I wake up. I'm still not making weight. I get back in the bathtub. I'm all dizzy. They gotta help me get out. I made weight though. Luckily, I made weight. Mind you, I still haven't slept. I still
Mm.
haven't slept. I go make weight, come back. I'm eating. I'm trying to get back. I only gained like 7-8 pounds the most. I weighed at 125. Pilot was like 136 or 130, 135. I was not big at all.
Yeah.
Usually every time I fight, I'm in the ring at 144,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
143. And every time I thought I was high on weight, I'll piss it out.
Mm.
So I'll probably hit like 40, 41, but then I'll piss it out and be right back down to like 35, 35, 36, right? So, mind you, I'm still not sleeping. Something with me, I'm still not sleeping, and my heart rate's at 90, 100 beats.
Jeez.
My heart rate is cranking.
Jeez.
So I talked to the team like I was thinking I was pulling out the fight. I'm not feeling well. I mean, my heart rate's high. I'm not making the weight. But I'm like, man, I got people coming, I have people all over, I have people flying. I'm telling you, I have people flying from all over the world. I'm from New York. It was crazy. So I was like, man, I can't pull out. So my will made me not pull out the fight, but I wanted to pull out the fight.
Yeah.
So I went in. I fought that first round. I was weak. I got tired. I was. I'm telling you, I was not there. I was not there. But that, like I said, that dog in me, I kept fighting, and what had happened was that he got me. He got me to fight with my emotions, which even made it even worse because I
Yeah.
knew I wasn't. I knew I wasn't good, so I was trying to like psych myself out. And by him taunting me and doing all that stuff, it got me going because I didn't want him to know that I wasn't good.
Yeah.
Anything he was, and he's like, not to say he's not a big puncher, but I fought some big punchers.
Yeah.
He was hitting me with a jab, and I was getting hurt.
Mm. Mm.
Anything he was hitting me, I was feeling it.
It was touching you. Yeah.
Everything he was hitting me, I was feeling it. Not saying that, he can't punch, but come on, you don't get hurt with jabs,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
So that comes in, and we fight. Boom, he caught me, and I was out. Mind you, the next day I had COVID.
Oh man. Oh man.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So I'm like, damn, was I fighting through COVID? I was,
Mm.
I was
That
hurt. I
makes
was I,
sense.
I was hurt. So a lot of things, like I said, a lot of things happened going to that fight where it's like, man, it was like it wasn't meant to be. So it's like I should listen to myself and not take the fight, but things happen. I'm not gonna regret nothing. You live and you learn. I'm going back to 130. I ain't messing with the 126. That was a nightmare. And if you notice, if you've been watching me in all my fights at 126, I've been getting hurt.
Yeah.
Encarnacion got hurt. The Pominki fight before I got hurt.
Yep.
26. I was pushing a weight that I couldn't make.
Mhm.
And I should have listened to myself, but my will, my pride, like I could do it. I could do it. I was ranked. I was like #2 in the world. I was excited. I was like, I could do it. I could do it. I could do it. But no, I couldn't do it. And I had to be real with myself. I wasn't being real with myself, and everything happens for a reason. But it's boxing, and we live and we learn. And there's nothing I could do except accept it, learn from it and move on. And I'm back 130. I'm training. Got a fight coming up soon, and you guys gonna be excited for this one.
Before we talk about that, Nova, I got two more questions, man. I'm always been a firm believer, right, that you learn a lot more in losses than you do in the wins, man. And again, going back to my pedigree in track and field, I took some big losses on some big stages, and a loss does two things, man. It makes you reassess, reanalyze, self-evaluate, and see how you can be better, right? Not just physically, but emotionally, mentally as well, too. Or a loss can take you out of what you thought that was possible for you in any type of field. So, Nova, when you got back to the locker room, man, when the perfect record is gone, right? When you go back to the locker room and you go back home, what was that like, right? What did that loss do to you, both negatively, and then how did you switch that to a positive?
So I'm a, and I thank a lot to God for this because I'm a person I don't dwell a lot. When
That's
things
powerful.
happen, when things happen to me, I don't dwell a lot. That's why I feel like I'm never stressed out. I'm never hurt. You never see me mad because I don't dwell on things. I understand when something has happened, and it has happened. There's nothing I could do because it's happened already. So let's look for a solution and move forward. So yes, I'm not gonna lie. When that happened to me, yes, I was upset. Of course, I was first confused. I'm like, wow, this really happened. Like I first thought it was a dream. It was a dream, and I didn't think it was real. But took me like 3 4 days to get over my grief moments. Went over my grief moments 3 4 days, and then I was back. I was like, this thing happened. There's nothing I could do. I wasn't able to watch the video, but I could watch the video now with no problems. After the fourth fifth day, I watched the whole fight. I seen everything, and I knew I was over it. A lot of people, a lot of people tell me like, "Wow, Abe, you're tough. Like you just like it's like nothing ever happened." I understand. There's nothing I could do.
Mm.
What has happened has happened. There's nothing I could do. What I could do is learn from this, move forward, and better myself. And that's what I did. And then I've learned a couple of things. I learned yes, I've never in my fight I never get emotionally involved, but in that fight I did. But now I know that's never gonna happen again. I would never get emotionally involved. And I also learned understand how my body feels. If I'm not up to date with my body, my fight's not ready to fight. I'm turning the fight down. Fight night, fight day, don't matter. My body, I have to feel at my best. I cannot let my will, my ego, my pride take over
Mm.
because that's what had happened. So those are the main things I can feel like I learned. At the end of the day, I feel like I'm a hell of a fighter. I know how to fight. I feel like I didn't do nothing wrong in the fight. I used to feel like I wasn't at my. I would. I if I was feeling the way I felt, the fight would have been a whole different way. But I was fighting based on how I felt. I wasn't fighting like on the strategy or doing what I was supposed to do to win. I was fighting
Mm.
based how I felt. And that's the main thing I could say. I took with me from that fight.
Next fight date, Nova. People are ready and looking forward to when you're stepping in the ring, man. They don't know who just yet. Maybe you probably know, having an inkling, but when can people expect you to see in the ring next? Before the year's end?
No, right in the beginning,
Okay, so early January.
early January. You guys gonna see me excited back. Coming back with a big action. I'm excited. And I'm ready to come back and let my fist do the talking. Um, and there's nothing I can say, nothing I can do except fight and show you when I'm really about. Like I said, I was able to get through these last these last three fights I had at 126. And people were like, wow, this, that, and the third. But I was, like I said, I was at 70%. I wasn't at my best. You guys didn't see nothing. I was weight drained. I was hurting, making weight. Every time I was hurting, making the weight. But my will, my pride, it made me fight through it and make it happen. Though all those fights, I won them based off my pride and my will. I didn't win them of my skills, of my strength, of my conditioning. I didn't win those fights. I won them off my will. And now you guys gonna see my will, but my strength, my speed, my IQ is fall in play. Because if you're not physically right in a fight, it's hard to put all those scenarios together and
Yeah.
and and be complete. So I feel like this is what you guys gonna see come in early January.
Well, man, I'm looking forward to it, man. I'm rocking with you, man. We had this conversation before, man, and one thing I learned about life is the fall makes you greater for a comeback because now you get to learn from what happened, regardless of what was out of your control. But as you just said, man, we can never dwell on a loss. There's always, always forward. Last question, Nova. There's going to be someone listening to this, man, and they may be going through a tough time, right? Life may not be going their way. They maybe just fell, right? A lot of things didn't line up for the way how they expected it to. From your experience, from your life experience, from everything that you are in the ring, what is a message that you would give to someone who is trying to find hope, but maybe they can't see it right now?
My message is I'm a big believer in timing. Timing. I feel like a lot of time we want things to come right away in our time, but I feel like the Lord has a time for everybody. And as long as you keep grinding and keep striving and doing what's best for you, your time is gonna come. Probably not when you want it to come, but it's gonna come because that's how timing, that's how life works. There's a lot of times I could say in my life, I'm 20 years old. We got Devin Haney to Fimo Lopez. They're 25, 24 years old, multimillionaires. They're champion. I'm like, wow, like I went through the whole amateur rankings with them. I did everything with them. Why I'm not a millionaire? Why I'm not there, right? It's
Yeah.
timing. God probably says, yo, Nova, you probably, if you had all that shine, all that money at that age, you probably won't do well. I'll probably break. I probably don't know what to do with all that success.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's timing. I feel like everybody has their timing in life, and God plans it perfect. But your job and our job is to keep moving forward and keep working. Regardless, it doesn't come when we want it, but it's gonna come as long as we keep moving forward.
No, but what's the best way to keep in touch with you, man? I know you got different social media handles, but what's the main one where people can reach out, support, and just check in with you if they so choose, man?
You guys go. Main one I'm always on is Instagram, Twitter. It's my handles is Abraham Nova 22. It's my first and last name, number 22. You guys could always check up on me there, and I'm here for you guys.
Early January, about to see you back in the ring. I'm looking forward to it, man. Bro, appreciate your time, man. I'm glad we were able to do this, man. I've been looking forward to catching up and having a conversation, man. So I appreciate your time, bro. Much love, and let's definitely stay in touch, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you for the interview. Big blessings. I appreciate your time. I appreciate your help, and God bless and stay safe, champ.
All right, Nova, love, bro.
One love. Peace.